The transversus abdominis muscle, or the TA muscle, is the deepest set of abdominal muscles that wraps around the sides of the body and becomes connective tissue at the front of the body. The linea alba is made up of the connective tissue of all the abdominal muscles. This connective tissue, together with the abdominal muscles, was stretched a great deal during pregnancy. We know from research that engaging the pelvic floor and the TA muscles increases tension in the linea alba, which is important for regaining strength in the core and for regenerating the connective tissue. But you might not know how to engage the TA muscle, particularly the lower part of the TA. We have the lower, middle, and upper parts of the TA. Connecting to this muscle is often challenging because the TA muscle doesn't move the spine, but rather draws the abdominal wall inwards towards the spine. If we can't connect to it, we can't strengthen it. So I prepared this short video to help you to connect to the lower part of the TA. Many fitness instructors and Pilates instructors use the cue, draw your navel towards your spine. Everyone is different, and different cues work for different people. This cue might be fine for you, though some people use their oblique muscles to draw the navel to the spine, which might create downward pressure into the pelvic floor. We want to avoid that. So how will you know if you're effectively activating the lower TA? Let's start with the pelvic floor, because the pelvic floor and the lower TA work in synergy, meaning that they work together. And first activating the pelvic floor might help you to connect to the activation of the TA, and it will prevent downward pressure on the pelvic floor. Try this standing up. And while it might be helpful to do it in front of a mirror, I want you to connect to the sensation of activating this muscle. Place your fingers on the ASIS. These are the protruding bones of the pelvis. Now move your fingers slightly inwards and slightly down. Take a breath. And on the out breath, lift up the pelvic floor from the opening of the vagina upwards, as though you're lifting a small cherry tomato up into your vagina. Inhale and relax. And do it again. As you exhale and lift your pelvic floor, do you feel the area beneath your fingers move towards your spine? It's important that you don't feel that area pushing your fingers out, but rather moving inwards, away from your fingers towards your spine. Do this a few times to connect to the sensation, always activating the muscles on the exhale. Exhale on the effort. Not this. Drawing away from your fingers as you lift your pelvic floor. Now you're going to do the same thing, and this time you're going to increase the movement beneath your fingers by activating your pelvic floor and your lower TA. Take a breath. And on the out breath, lift up the pelvic floor and make the sound shh. Make sure you keep lifting the pelvic floor. Inhale and release. And do it again. Exhale, shh. Lift up the pelvic floor. Shh. And do you feel your lower belly moving even closer towards your spine than when you were just activating the pelvic floor? Yes? That's your lower TA. Perhaps as you exhale and lift your pelvic floor, imagine a string drawing the two sides of the ASIS towards the midline. Practice it a few more times so that you connect to the sensation of activating the lower TA together with the pelvic floor. You can also try placing your hand flat against your lower belly, and as you exhale, shh, Lift up your pelvic floor and draw your belly away from your hand. Inhale to release. And do it again. With your pelvic floor. You can practice this activation of the pelvic floor together with the lower TA several times to get the hang of it. Right now we're simply connecting to the sensation of activating this muscle. Once we know how to activate it, we can progress the load to strengthen the muscle. Remember that to strengthen the core, we need to activate all the abdominal muscles in unison, including the transversus abdominis, together with the other core muscles like the pelvic floor.